Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening ceremony of the 32nd Annual National Character and Leadership Symposium. Please stand for the singing of our national anthem, performed by the United States Air Force Academy Cadet Chorale.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there, still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, home of the brave.
Please be seated and direct your attention to the screens for our opening video.
A true warrior leads through adversity, demonstrates unwavering focus and vision, engages in the relentless pursuit of justice, executes purposeful and courageous action, and displays moral prudence in commands. At the United States Air Force Academy, our cadets put these actions into practice. The Academy builds resilient warfighters prepared for the challenges of the battlefield. During the 32nd National Character and Leadership Symposium, we will explore warrior ethos as a framework for reflection, personal growth, and proactive development. Our goal is to prepare officers of character who are equipped to lead the Air Force and Space Force in service to our nation. Leaders who are masters of their craft, who understand that moral injuries may be carried for life and that there may be no right decision when immersed in the fog and friction of war. Over the course of 2 days, numerous presentations, personal stories, and small group discussions enhance this exceptional experience and enrich our military education. We cultivate character, connect our teams, and make ethically sound decisions when faced with adversity. This year's symposium will feature leaders who share thought-provoking ideas and inspiring stories of grit and resilience, offering us valuable opportunities for reflection to strengthen our warrior ethos. Join us on this journey as we engage in meaningful dialogue and acquire the tools necessary to succeed as warfighters who win, leaders of character and quality, and critical thinkers who adapt. Together, we are combat-ready leaders with a warrior ethos prepared to defend our nation. Welcome to the 32nd National Character and Leadership Symposium.
Once again, I'd like to personally welcome you to the United States Air Force Academy and our 32nd Annual National Character and Leadership Symposium. I am Cadet First Class Julie Rosino, your MC for this morning's opening ceremony. The Air Force Academy is unique for many reasons, but what truly sets us apart is that we are held accountable for producing warfighters to win, leaders of character and quality, and critical thinkers to adapt. Each year, we take a pause during NCLS to engage in meaningful dialogue surrounding these priorities. We invite distinguished leaders from a variety of backgrounds and experiences to help facilitate these discussions as we forge leaders of character, motivated to a lifetime of service, and dedicated to lead our Air Force and Space Force as we fight and win our nation's wars. This year's theme of Warfighters to Win explores the essence of being a true warrior and developing warfighters equipped to face the challenges of the modern battlefield. Over the next 2 days, you will hear motivational stories from combat-tested warfighters, and you will have the opportunity to share in dialogue with our speakers and panelists who have leaned into their warrior ethos. We also examine how we can learn from these warfighters and leaders. Ultimately, the next 2 days are a call to action, and I challenge each of you to take time to reflect and ultimately incorporate what you learn into your daily life. It is now time to thank our partners whose generous donations make NCLS possible. Will the members of the following groups please stand and be recognized? Please hold applause until everybody is standing. The United States Air Force Academy, Class of 1959, our flagship sponsor, the Class of 1973, the Class of 1974, the Class of 1977, the Class of 1993, the Class of 2004, the Association of Graduates, the Air Force Academy Foundation, the Falcon Foundation, the Muse Family Foundation, Lieutenant Colonel Retired Earl A. Enix, Class of 1977, and Mrs. Candy Enix, the Land of the Free Foundation, and other donors. Without their generosity, this impressive event would not be possible. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Air Force Academy Superintendent, Lieutenant General Tony D. Bauernfein. Please stand for the arrival of the Superintendent.
Good morning, everyone. Please have your seats. Please have your seats. Well, good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Okay, do we need more coffee? Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Okay, there we go. Hey, before I get in to kind of share with you where we're going at the United States Air Force Academy, I first wanted to call out our amazing Center for Character and Leadership Development team, as well as all our cadet leaders who have put this together. So let's put a round of applause for this amazing team. I also want to give a special thanks to all of our community partners that have made this a reality as we lean into this. And so I wanted to say I was going to start this ceremony, or start this seminar, but I will tell you we actually started it last night. And we started it with an amazing panel of warfighters who demonstrated excellence and precision and professionalism over in the CENTCOM area of responsibility. And it was a classified briefing where our cadet leaders got to hear directly from those warfighters and understand what they need to be ready to do on day one as they enter our Air Force and Space Force. So I look forward to continued conversations. But today, I also want to share with you understanding where we are going as the United States Air Force Academy as we pivot to our priorities of preparing our future warrior leaders. But with all good speeches, they start with one thing, and that is a video. So team, please bring the lights down. So it's always good to start with a little angry music and to show all the the things that we are doing at the United States Air Force Academy, we're going to do even more as we focus on warrior ethos. And it's not just about military training. It's about our airmanship programs, our space programs, our cyber programs, and most importantly, our intramural and our intercollegiate programs, as you saw there. Because it is truly about developing that warrior mindset on the fields of friendly strife that we move forward. So we've got a lot of capabilities here at the United States Air Force Academy to instill the warrior ethos. And I look forward to continuing us moving forward as we do more in that arena. Oops, so back up one. So what we're going to talk about today is why. Why are we focusing so hard on the warrior ethos? First and foremost, we'll talk about the time of consequence we're in, the geopolitical environment that requires us to invest in our future leaders. We will share our updated mission and our priorities of the United States Air Force Academy, and then we'll spend some time talking about how we are pivoting to increased warfighter training at the United States Air Force Academy. So, without further ado, let's talk about the times of consequence. And you can see it in the press every single day. Our adversaries have watched the American way of warfare for the last 3 decades, and they have learned. They have learned our way of warfare. So we must develop new tactics, techniques, procedures, new doctrine, new capabilities to keep our adversaries at bay. From China to Russia to the Middle East to North Korea to violent extremist organizations, they all wish to do harm to our nation and our principles, and they are challenging us in every domain. From ground to air to space to cyberspace, they are challenging our capabilities, and it is our responsibility to act and act now. And it is especially important as we look at that bilateral commission that was published just this last summer, that the U.S. may lose a future conflict to China and Russia if we do not make necessary changes. And I'll appreciate that our services are focused on the necessary changes of the equipment, but we are focused on the most important thing, our people and our leaders, and that's what we're moving forward with. And our new Secretary of Defense, Secretary Hegseth, has doubled down on this, that our President has given us a clear mission to achieve peace through strength and to focus on 3 priorities: to restore the warrior ethos in our force, to rebuild the military, to reestablish deterrence, to keep our adversaries on their heels, and should our adversaries choose to challenge us, deliver decisive victory for our nation. And that is exactly where we are going. And we have updated our mission statement to reflect exactly where we're going at the United States Air Force Academy. That our job here is to forge leaders of character, motivated to a lifetime of service, and developed to lead our Air Force and Space Force as we fight and win our nation's wars. And let me double down on that. It's leaders of character. Leaders that do the right things the right way, even when it's hard. Leaders that build lethal warfighting teams. Leaders that build their teams up to overcome any adversity. But also acknowledging that it's about a lifetime of service. And it's not always about doing 34 years that I'm approaching now of active duty service. It's continuing to serve our nation in a myriad of pathways. Active duty, Guard, Reserve, government service in your communities, elected service in the defense industrial base. As long as we continue to serve our nation, we'll keep moving forward. But the acknowledgement that here at the military service academies, our job is to develop leaders who are prepared to fight and win our nation's wars. We want to focus on deterrence, but we have strength through our deterrent capabilities with the acknowledgement that should our adversaries choose to test our mettle, that we will deliver decisive victory on behalf of our nation. And that is a clear focus in our mission. Now, when we've updated our mission, we also have to update our priorities. And our priorities are built on several foundational aspects. The first and foremost are our service core values of our Air Force and our Space Force, of integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do, encourage, character, connection, and commitment. Those underpin everything that follows because we are developing the leaders that will be in our Air Force and our Space Force. But then we build upon those core values with two critical focus areas. The first is a strict adherence to standards. Standards is critical to two major efforts in military operations. The first is good order and discipline, and the most important is what we need for the precision and capabilities to be successful in modern warfighting. That is strict adherence to our standards, our tactics, our techniques, our procedures, our precision is what ensures the success on the battlefield. But we also believe strongly in our honor code at the United States Air Force Academy, because the honor code is what's vital to our leaders and leaders of character. That we develop leaders that are doing the right thing, the right way, even when it's unpopular. Leaders that build up teams, but leaders that also hold the team accountable to our high standards. Leaders that do not walk past problems, but are there to fight for the team. And I will offer to you that standards and our honor code are absolutely foundational to what we're preparing our future leaders to do when they lead in combat. And our first priority, the subject of this conference, is developing warfighters to win. And what does that mean? And I will share you my personal perspective. The first is that warrior ethos. Do you have a mindset of readiness? Are you always physically ready, mentally ready, spiritually ready, family ready? Not only you, but your subordinates and your teams. When the nation calls, you're the first to say, "Send me, I'm ready." But you also have that mindset of being offensive by nature. You're not going to wait to be told what to do. You're going to bring ideas and capabilities forward to keep our adversaries on their heels, keep them always thinking, keep them always guessing, because our job is to deter our adversaries, and should they choose to challenge us, as I said before, deliver that victory. But being a warfighter to win also means being a master of your craft. Whether you're intel, a guardian, whether you're maintenance, a pilot, you're the one that's doing the long hours studying your tech orders. You're the ones that understands the capabilities when training comes forward. You're the one fighting to improve yourself and your team. You're the go-to person in your squadron when it comes to those tough questions. And finally, being a warfighter to win means developing that team and being able to lead your team through adversity and crisis. Because leaders will prepare your team for the crisis that's coming your way and be able to take 10 teammates out and make sure that you're bringing 10 teammates back home. That's what warfighting to win becomes forward. And we're working on that at the United States Air Force Academy by focusing hard on our warfighting training. We're focusing hard on our ready airman training, and we're challenging ourselves through crucible events throughout the year. But with the mindset that it's not about me, it's about we, that it's the team that succeeds, not the individual. So that's our first priority. Our second priority continues to focus on building leaders of character and quality, because that's what our Air Force and our Space Force needs. And it's from the concept that leaders do three critical things for the team. They set the vision for the mission and your people. You fight like heck for the resources that your team needs to succeed in their mission. And I'll foot stomp that it's fighting for the resources they need, not what you want. And then finally, as a leader, you're knocking down any barriers that prevent your teammates from being able to give their all to the nation. And that's what leaders do. But our leaders are also standards bearers, because we've talked about the need for standards from a good order and discipline perspective, but also our critical and precise warfighting capabilities. And our leaders establish the standards, uphold the standards, hold the team accountable to the standards, but they do it in a way that lifts the team up. And finally, we prepare leaders to make the hard calls. As discussed before, leaders of character and quality do the right thing, do it the right way, even when it's unpopular. We're looking for leaders to be respected by their teams, not always focused on being liked. So that's what we're focused on leaders of character and quality. Now, the third priority is building our critical thinkers to adapt. As I said, our adversaries have watched the American way of war for 3 decades. Not only have they watched, they have learned. They have learned and they have fielded capabilities that hold our current capabilities at risk. At the end of the day, we have wicked, hard problems, not only for our Air Force and Space Force, but the entire Joint Force. It will be our future leaders here at the United States Air Force Academy and throughout all of our commissioning sources that are coming up with the innovative solutions to these wicked, hard problems that we're facing. These critical thinkers are also going to be developed in a way where they will not accept the status quo. They will be empowered to fight the bureaucracy, a bureaucracy that is built to slow us down and stop us. Our nation has told us that the time now is needed for rapid action, and we will do just that as we move forward. So those are our 3 priorities: forging those warfighters to win, those leaders of character and quality, and those critical thinkers to adapt. But there's some additional aspects of this I need to share. The first is the fact that we will hold everybody responsible for developing that culture of dignity and respect. Because it's important that we build our teams up, that we ensure every person is resourced appropriately and all barriers are knocked down as they move forward. I will offer to you that it's about developing climates where it's acceptable to provide feedback. It's acceptable to provide those corrections in a respectful manner, because you're doing it from the heart to hold each other up. But it's also to develop that culture and climate that every single teammate is seen, heard, and valued. Because I can tell you right now, just like every commander that has ever commanded the United States Air Force, you are not going to pick your team. Your team's going to be given to you, and you are going to be undermanned. That is what happens in our Air Force and Space Force. So our job is to lead our teams to be able to give more than 100%, to be able to give 120%, because you need every single teammate giving their all every single day to the mission. And as we move forward with this concept, it's about holding each other up to our highest standards, being there for each other when times are tough, and ensuring unity across the entire team. And at the United States Air Force Academy, we're going to do this in a new way. And we've started this over the past year. And that is through our 4-class system. In the past, the majority of our training was focused on the 4th class, our freshmen. But we are honored here to have a 47-month leadership development program where we can invest heavily in our future leaders, where we focus on building good teammates and followers when they're 4 degrees, building good frontline engaged supervisors as 3 degrees, good team leaders as 2 degrees, and then as firsties, focusing them on being unit leaders and those capabilities that are resident in our Air Force and Space Force. And through our recognition and promotion program, we have a detailed syllabus of instruction of what it means for each of those 4 classes. And if our teammates have passed all of their training requirements, they will be recognized for their good work and then promoted to the next grade, with the ultimate promotion occurring this year on 29 May as we bring forward about 1,000 new second lieutenants into our Air Force and Space Force. And so that's where we're focused at the United States Air Force Academy. And this is a lot. And I will tell you, it's important. But I tell you, we welcome the challenge. These amazing young Americans and our allies and partners that come here do not come to the United States Air Force Academy for the easy. We come for the hard. We like the challenges. And we will be demanding, but I can promise you we will never be demeaning. We just do not do that to our teammates. And this is where we're going on our priorities. Now, speaking of demanding, the future of modern warfare. As we look at modern warfare, it's a realization that we must develop warrior leaders that are air-minded, space-minded, and cyber-minded at the United States Air Force Academy. I can tell you for a fact that over the last 15 years, there was not a single mission that I was either on or commanded that space and cyber effects weren't the first thing to arrive on target. So our job here, the long term, is developing programs that ensure every single graduate of the United States Air Force Academy is air-minded, space-minded, and cyber-minded. Now that doesn't mean on space-minded that every single person's going to know Kepler's laws and orbital mechanics. That's why I have an astronautical engineering program. What it means is, do we have warrior leaders that understand the tactics, techniques, procedures, understand the missions, understand the doctrine, and understand the organizations of how you deliver the effects you need on the future battlefield. And we're going to take this challenge on as we focus this as we go forward. But we're also going to take on an additional focus, a focus that is absolutely fundamental to all joint warfare. And that is how we're going to focus our military training and developing these warfighters to win. And taking an old-time quote and adding to it, we're going to develop warrior leaders that know how to shoot, move, communicate, medicate, and automate. And let me walk you through what we mean by that in our military training. First, shooting. And this is the goal. My intent and our goal is every single cadet qualifies on their long gun and their sidearm every single year. Not familiarization training, qualification. Because the intent is every graduate should leave the United States Air Force Academy with full confidence in their personal weapons. And we're fighting hard for the resources to make this a reality. The second aspect is to be able to move. And that means that our cadet squadrons can execute agile combat employment capabilities and concepts, which the entire Joint Force is focused on right now, and increase their ability to not only establish a forward operating base, but be able to defend the base, to be able to fight through chemical and biological attack, and be able to generate some capability of combat power. And we're investing in that as we start to go forward with our culminating exercises this spring, acknowledging that we're focused on a crawl, walk, run approach, and this is our first year digging into it. We're also focusing on communication. And communications, are we developing the cadet squadrons and the cadet capabilities to be able to demonstrate command and control as we generate some element of combat power. That means an understanding and an execution of the concept of mission command. That means being able to establish a tactical operations center and fundamentally being able to execute command and control, especially in environments with unknown information and uncertain connections with the rear headquarters. We're also focusing on Medicate. Medicate is almost like our shoot capability, that we must be able to leave the United States Air Force Academy and demonstrate that we have the confidence to present life-saving skills under combat conditions. That means training in combat life-saving skills, training in TCCC. And it's with an acknowledgement as we pivot to high-end warfare that the concept of the golden hour is now in question. That when in the past that we had high confidence of either medical care or rescue inside of an hour, inside of high-end warfare that is now in question. So we must have the capability and the confidence to keep our teammates alive under high-end combat conditions until our exceptional medical teams can come and move out. And the final aspect in this is that we must automate. It's an understanding that we will utilize automated systems and processes to increase our speed of decision making. It's really understanding that the military force that moves out with automation first gains information superiority and thus the competitive advantage in future warfare. That means bringing to bear small unmanned aerial vehicles, counter unmanned aerial vehicle capabilities, as well as understanding how we can start to appreciate intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities at the low-end scale here at our United States Air Force Academy. So this is where we are going with our military training. As focused again, we're leaning towards it on a crawl phase, fighting hard for the resources so we can get to the walk and run phase in the coming months and coming years. But I'm exceptionally proud of what our cadet wing and our force has done to start to get us going in this direction. Now, many will say in this, that this is not what the Air Force does. This is Army training. I can tell you right now, the field of modern warfare, or the face of modern warfare has changed. This is joint warfare. Where in the past, we had the luxury of sanctuary in our initial staging bases, many times in our forward staging bases. In the future modern warfare, we will have to fight out of the continental United States. We will have to fight into theater. We will have to fight from theater. And those skills that we're talking about there are fundamental to where we're going as a force. And we're going to focus on getting our future leaders the sets and reps, that fundamental skills to be successful so they're ready to lead on day one. Now, as we lean forward, it's our new updated mission, our priorities, and this warfighter training that is going to develop the American warrior leaders that are ready to lead on day one. And this is where we are going. And many of you will say, wow, this is a big lift. It is a big lift. But I can tell you my confidence is high. And my confidence is high for two reasons. First and foremost, this amazing team. We have an incredible installation. We have world-class permanent party. We have 55,000 amazing alumni that have our back. And we also have incredible joint and community partners that are here to support us as we move forward. And it's important because without this, we would not be successful. But the real reason I'm confident is this. Because we truly have on our terrazzo 4,163 amazing Americans, allies, and partners from all four corners of the great United States and throughout the globe. When you get a chance to talk to our future warrior leaders, you know that our nation is in good hands. And now our job is to give them the resources and training so they're successful on day one. So without any hyperbole, my confidence is high that we're going to meet the mission that we've been given to us by our nation. And as we go forward over the next 2 days, I offer to you a call to action. For everyone here, we have got an incredible lineup of warrior leaders, teammates who are representing our latest Medal of Honor winner, teammates who have given almost everything on the field of battle, teammates who have performed exceptionally in combat, teammates who have overcame adversity. My call to action for everyone here is engage with these amazing leaders. Engage with these speakers and ask them the hard questions. I saw it yesterday with our aerial kill panel, where we had phenomenal teammates from our Air Force and our Navy that highlighted what they did in the Middle East to prevent a high-end regional war by defeating the dozens of drones that Iran had launched on Israel. That is what being a warfighter to win means. Their tactical expertise ensured that we had strategic freedom of maneuver and to ensure that we avoided that high-end war. And I can tell you that that just started the discussions. We're going to have additional discussions with our upcoming company grade officer panel. I encourage everyone to listen, learn, especially our cadets, because for our firsties, you're less than 100 days from being on that day one. So these 2 days, take the time, embrace it. Take these conversations, ask the hard question, and use it as inspiration and motivation to develop your own warfighting mindset, to develop your own warrior ethos. And then the final question I have, especially for our future leaders that we've talked about this. The speakers that we heard last night and we will hear over the next 2 days, they were absolutely ready when the nation called them. When the nation called them, they said, send me and they delivered excellence. Will you be ready? Will you be ready? Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you, and that is all I have.
General Bauernfein, on behalf of the Cadet Wing and NCLS staff, thank you for joining us to launch this year's National Character and Leadership Symposium. Please stand for the departure of the Superintendent. This concludes the opening ceremony. Thank you all so much.